Hello everyone, welcome to Everything Arsenal. Time for our second preseason game of the Singapore tour. Last time it was AC Milan. We got a decent win this time round. It's a familiar foe in Newcastle United, a team that we face a lot of times every season. Last season we played them 4 times and they got the better of us plenty of times. But this time it's a friendly match. It's a game that I'd expect to, see us win, especially with the situation going on at Newcastle, with a few players leaving, a few players not traveling over. And for us against AC Milan, it was a decent win. We kept a clean sheet and quite a few players impressed. All the new signings impressed. Zubimendi, Nogard, Kepa. On top of that, the youngsters also definitely impressed. Nwaneri was very good in that first half. Max Dauman was really good. Josh Nichols, Salmon, all those guys were really impressive. So looking forward to seeing how they do once again in this one. After this, the players will be off to Hong Kong to play against Tottenham and then back to London. And then we get closer and closer to the Premier League campaign. So against AC Milan, we had a lot of efforts on goal. We dominated a lot of the possession as usual. AC Milan only had like a couple of shots on goal. Red didn't make any saves. Kepa made one in the second half. Obviously, after the game, we went to penalties. It didn't matter really. They beat us 6-5 on that. I don't know if this is going to be the same, but it's going to be interesting. There's a lot that I want to see in this game. I'll be showing you guys what my lineup would be for this game and what I want to see in this particular match. So again, last season Newcastle got the better of us a lot. Actually, if you combine the last 3 seasons, they've gotten the better of us a lot. Isaac has not traveled for this one. Callum Wilson left, so they don't really have a striker. They haven't really signed Sesko yet. We've been linked to Anthony Gordon from there, so it's going to be interesting to see how we play against them or how we play against him if he's going to start the game. I think Elanga's traveled. He's a new player there from Nottingham Forest. Great signing. He was very, very good for Nottingham Forest last season. For this match for us, Gyökeres won't make it for this match as I expected. The medical will be done on Saturday. No time for training, no time to get over jet lag, even if he arrives in time to play against Newcastle. But he should be making his debut against Tottenham. Obviously, Madueke is also not there, so we just basically have the same players from last time, apart from MOSQUERA. MOSQUERA has now joined the team, so he's ready to make an appearance. Will he start? Will he be coming off the bench? Would I start him? All that will be interesting to see. But for me, actually, I'm thinking about starting here. I'm thinking about starting MOSQUERA. We still have a couple of injuries. Timber hasn't started training yet. And Gabriel Magalhaes is back in training, but not ready to play in this game. So there's still opportunities for other players to play. There's a few other players who didn't play in the last game, like Kabia, the youngster. Lokonga didn't feature in the last game. So there's opportunities for other players to play even in the last 10 minutes, 15 minutes and stuff. So what is my lineup for this game? What did I go for? What do I want to see in this game? Let's go through that now. So let's start with the goalkeeper. So formation obviously remains the same. For the goalkeeper, I am going to go for Kepa to start this one. He only played 45 minutes last time. They played half-half with David Raya. I'm going to start him in this one. Both of them didn't really have much to do in that game, but start him in this one, start Raya against Tottenham. I expect Kepa to feature a lot for us next season. Last season, Neto only played 1 game, but you'd expect Kepa to play a few more. He's going to have the cup competitions, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, hopefully get far in those competitions so that he can get a lot of game time. On top of that, he's going to probably feature in a couple of Champions League games as well, probably the last ones in the league phase. So he's a good goalkeeper for 5 million. I was happy to get him for 5 million. We saw in the penalty shootout, he can be very important for us next season. But I want to see him getting tested in the game, the corners from the opposition, when he's getting bullied by Joe Linton and players like that. How is he going to handle that? The shots from Bruno Guimaraes, all that. I want to see how he's going to do the playing out from the back, starting from the first minute. How is he going to do in terms of playing out from the back? Actually, no worries with him playing 90 minutes in this game and then Ryan 90 minutes against Tottenham. No need to start them out every single game. So I'd actually probably give him 90 minutes in this game. So Kepa would be my goalkeeper. Now for centre backs, we started with Calafiori and Saliba last time. We have other options like Kivia who came on. We have Ben White can play there, but we don't really have any other options at right back. MOSQUERA can also play at centre back now if he's ready now. For the left side, I am going to start with Kivia. This is one player that I definitely want Arsenal to keep. I've always said, if you want to sell him, it has to be 50 million plus. It's too important, especially now that Gabriel is not fully fit and Calafiori, we don't want to play him every single time and risk him. Kivia has to stay in this team. You got the assist for Saka the other day. He was very good in that game defensively as well. Solid in the Champions League last season after the Gabriel injury. Start him in this one. Give him a good 60 minutes, and then let's see how it goes. Even more than that, depending on who we have on the bench to come on. But Kivia starts for me in this one. But who plays next to him? Now, Saliba played around 65 minutes last time against AC Milan. So I'm not starting him for this one. We also need to protect our players. It's pre-season. You don't have to play them 90 minutes every single time. I'm starting MOSQUERA, guys. I'm giving MOSQUERA his debut. I'm starting him next to Kivia. I think that is solid enough. Give him a good 45 minutes, and then you can bring on Saliba in the second half. That is MOSQUERA's best position. He can play on both sides, the Kivia side and the side that he is on right now. But give Saliba a break for this one. Let MOSQUERA start. Let's see what is all about next to Kivia. Kivia is a good defender to play next to. So I'm not too worried about that one. I don't know who they're going to be up against. Maybe Anthony Gordon as a striker, because or maybe one of the young players there, because both Isaac and Wilson are not there anymore. Isaac's not going to be there anymore, and Wilson has already left. So let's see how it's going to go. But that will be my centre-back partnership. Now, left-back last time we went with Zinchenko. I think he had a decent first half in terms of the passing and the control of the midfield, going into midfield. For this one, I'm starting with Lewis Skelly. We have three options who can play there at the moment, in Lewis Skelly and Calafiori and Zinchenko, but I'm going to start with Lewis Skelly for this one. He came on at halftime last time, so I would start him. And then, did he come on at halftime, or did he come on much later than that? I think he came on at halftime. So I'm going to go with Lewis Skelly at left back. We know what to expect from Miles. Nothing too he's a very good player, so we're expecting levels from him. I don't think he was that great against AC Milan, but hey, it was the first game of preseason. Let's see how it does in this one. And then at right back, we don't have too many options unless we start with Josh Nichols. I'm going to stick with Ben White. That was the best he looked in quite a few months when he played against AC Milan. He was overlapping really well. We had that combination of him and Saka that we haven't seen in a long time. So start him again. Give him another 55 minutes, and then you can bring on Josh Nichols on that wing. So that would be my defense. How many changes from the weekend? Against AC Milan, and the last it was on Tuesday. Yeah, so Tuesday, Wednesday. So when he played AC Milan on Wednesday, we went with Calafiori at centre back with Saliba, so I've changed that. We went with Zinchenko at left back, I've changed that as well. And they went with Ben White, I've gone with Ben White as well. So my right back stays the same. What about the midfield? So midfield, we started with Norgard. This time I'm starting with Zubimendi. Let's see him for 55 minutes, and let's see how he does in that midfield. I think you're going to see that a lot between him and Norgard. As Zubimendi continues to adapt to that position. Norgard will start a few games, Mendy will start a few games. Remember, we're in big competition in the Champions League, the Carabao Cup, so we have a lot of different games to play, and 4 different players who can play there: Zubimendi, Norgard, Declan Rice, Merino. That was his position at Sociedad, and on top of that, we can actually also decide to use Lewis Skelly and Zinchenko in and around that midfield. So in midfield, I think we're okay at the moment. Zubimendi was very class in the second half when he came on. He created 2 chances. The long passes were really good. He had 100% in terms of the long passes. He got dribbled past a couple of times, but Liao was so pacey, so he can just get past you. Not too worried about that one. But he was first 45 minutes in an Arsenal shot. So I'm starting him in this one, but who am I starting ahead of him? So last time we saw Nwaneri and Declan Rice starting ahead of Norgard. For this one, I'm going to keep Declan Rice, but I'm going to start Odegaard next to him. Odegaard was very lively the second half. Everything was going through him. The shots, the chances created. This is what we saw in the second half, Zubimendi and Odegaard in the second half. And then it was, I think it was Merino in the right position. I was thinking about starting Merino to see him next to Zubimendi and Odegaard, the Real Sociedad midfield, but I want to change up front. So maybe I've just given you my forward player for this game. So Odegaard and Rice there, no worries about that. Give Rice 45 minutes, sub him off. He played 65 minutes last time. So considering he didn't travel to Spain, no need to risk him too much. Just give him 45 minutes and then take him off. So Odegaard starts there. And then I had Nwaneri starting in the Odegaard position again for another 45 minutes, but because I don't want Saka to start in this one, I want him to start in the Tottenham one, or come on in this one and then however we're going to do it. It probably will feature in all of those games, but the way they're going to divide the minutes, I'm going to start with Nwaneri on the right side. We don't really have anyone else who can play there unless we play Martinelli there. Madueke is not yet with us. If Madueke was here, then I would start Nwaneri in the Odegaard position and then bring Odegaard in the second half again, bring him on, and then I'd start Madueke on the right side, but at the moment he's not there. So I'm starting with Nwaneri on the right side. He played really well in the number 10 position. So let's see how he does once again in the winger position. Have Odegaard and Nwaneri both on the pitch at the same time, and let's see how it goes. I was also thinking of having Nwaneri next to Odegaard and then with Zubimendi, but with Nwaneri, Odegaard, and Zubimendi, I don't think you have too much grit in the midfield. So unless we start with Rice or Nogard in the Zubimendi position, then you can have Nwaneri or Odegaard, depending on how you want the team to line up. Left wing, we started with Martinelli last time. This time I'm going with Trossard. He was better than Martinelli in that game. Martinelli did, go past his defender one or two times and put in a couple of good crosses, but Trossard was more lively. He had a few shots. One was a very good save from the goalkeeper from outside the box. So start him in this one, then bring on Martinelli in the second half. That is what I would do. And then for the forward, I'm going to go with Merino. So that's why you're not going to see Merino, Zubimendi, and Odegaard in midfield. I wanted to give Havertz one game up front and give Merino one game up front because for the next game, we know Gyökeres is arriving. So Merino starts up front. He did very, very well for us in that position. And he can score goals. He knows how to position himself. He knows how he can head the ball and all that. So I'm confident with that. Actually, Nwaneri crossed for him for that goal against Leicester when he shocked us all. So in terms of that lineup, how many changes have I made? I've changed the goalkeeper. I've changed 3 of the defenders. I've changed the midfield, 2 midfielders. So that is 6. And then I've changed the left winger and right winger, 9, and changed the forward player. So basically, the only players I've kept in are Ben White and Declan Rice. Those are the only players I've kept in from the previous game against AC Milan. So on the bench, basically everyone else: Raya, Setford, Zinchenko, Calafiori, Saliba, Nogard, Havertz, Saka, Martinelli, Nelson, Kabia, Dalman, Nicole, Salmon. There's also a couple of other players like Rogers and I think it's Colney. Colney or Conley, one of those. So those youngsters are still there, so we can give them an opportunity. But what I'd like to see is last time he made 6 subs at halftime. What I would do at halftime is I would take off Declan Rice. I'd actually take off, Declan Rice would go off for me at halftime. I'd probably bring on, who'd I bring on? That's a tough one. I don't mind even if you bring on it's tough, man. It's tough because that lineup. Listen, there's a lot of players who can play there. You can take off Rice and bring on Zinchenko in that midfield. You can move Nwaneri to the center and then you just bring on Saka on the right side. But let me just tell you the players I'd like to go off at halftime. Rice, I'd like him to go off at halftime. I'd also like to see Ben White going off at halftime because they started the last games. And Trossard can also go off. Martinelli can come on. The rest, depends. Everyone will get game time in this game, so it just depends on how Arteta and the rest of the coaching team want it. But off the bench, I would like to see Kabia getting some game time this time around. Everyone has gotten game time in terms of the youngsters, or many of them have gotten game time. I'd like to see Kabia. Kabia is a winger, so he can be the one coming on from Nwaneri later on. So I'd like to see Kabia. Definitely, I'd like to see Dalman as well, probably in the number 10 position coming on for Odegaard. And then, those are the 2 that I'd really, really want to see. I would want to see Nelson as well. Let's see how he does if he comes on. And then, obviously, the rest will come on at the whenever Arteta wants to bring them on, or the 68th, 70th minute. Let's see how it goes. So against Newcastle, what is my prediction for this game? I think we're going to win. We created a lot of chances last time, had more than 20 shots, but missed a lot. And the goalkeeper did quite well, this Milan goalkeeper. So for this one, I think we're going to get the goals. Are we going to keep another clean sheet? Clean sheet against Watford, clean sheet against AC Milan. I think maybe they can get a goal. So I'm going to go for Arsenal 3, Newcastle 1. That is my prediction for this one. Will one of the youngsters score? I think Merino will score. If he starts up front, Merino will score. I think We're also going to might see a goal from like an Odegaard or someone, and then maybe one of the youngsters in the second half. Why not? Let's go with Max Daumann to score in this one. Let's go with that one. So 3-1 to Arsenal. Confident about this one. But more importantly, let's see a debut for Mosquera. Let's see how he adapts. Let's have more game time for players like Daumann and Nichols. Let's have different combinations in midfield. Let's see Mendy with them. No, God, let's see Mendy with Odegaard. Let's see Odegaard with Rice. Let's see Rice with None. Just different combinations. Let's see how Kepa does from the beginning of the game, playing out of the back, how he handles all the crosses and all that. Ben White, looking forward to seeing him once again, how his fitness continues to, go up and up and up. So looking forward to all of that. So let me know what your starting lineup would be, what your prediction would be. Would you change anything? Is there one player that you're really looking forward to seeing in this game? Mosquera, Nwaneri again, Daumann? Let me know. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.